Here's a number that decides more about your life than your salary does. $10,000. Not a million, not even 100,000. 10 grand sitting in a boring savings account doing absolutely nothing. Because here's what most people get wrong about money. They think the game changes when you get rich. It doesn't. The game changes the day a surprise stops being an emergency. A man wrote something online that stuck with me. He said 10,000 in the bank saved his life. Not a lottery win, not a raise. He got laid off on a random Tuesday, no warning, and instead of panic, he had time. Time to breathe, time to choose. Time to find a better job instead of grabbing the first one that would take him. Today, I'm going to show you the machine that builds that 10,000, even on a small paycheck. 5 parts, no side hustle fairy dust. And no, I am not going to take your coffee away. Stay to the end, because I'll put real numbers on a real paycheck, month by month, all the way to 10 grand, and I'll show you the one account trick that makes the whole thing run on autopilot. First, let's be honest about where America actually is. The Federal Reserve asks people a simple question every year. Could you cover a $400 emergency with cash? Almost 4 in 10 adults say no. And Bankrate found that most Americans, could not handle a $1,000 surprise from savings. A blown tire, a cracked tooth, a sick dog, one bad Tuesday, and the credit card comes out at 24% interest. That's the trap under the trap. When you have no cushion, every emergency costs double. The $400 car repair becomes $600 by the time the card is paid off. Being broke has a subscription fee. And the fees pile on. Banks charge around $35 every time an account slips below zero, and they collect billions in those fees every single year. Think about what that actually is. It's a penalty for having no cushion, charged to the people who can least afford it. The less money you have, the more your money costs. Now look at what $10,000 actually does. For a typical household, that's 3 to 5 months of survival bills. It's a layoff that doesn't wreck you. It's leaving a bad job, a bad landlord, a bad situation, because you can. Remember the walkaway number from the last episode? For most people, this is it. Let's make it concrete. $10,000 is your insurance deductible, covered without blinking. It's a working used car, bought with cash. It's a flight home for a family emergency, booked without checking your balance first. Small money buys things. This money buys options. Fun fact, Warren Buffett's partner Charlie Munger was once asked about building wealth. He said the first 100,000 is the hardest. Actually, he used a saltier word than hardest. But here's the part people miss. Inside that first 100, the first 10 is the steepest climb of all. After that, the machine starts pulling you uphill. So why is saving so hard? Here's the part nobody says out loud. It's not because you're weak. It's because the system is built for you to fail at it. Think about how your money moves. Your paycheck lands, and within days, the autopays feed everyone else. The landlord, the bank, the phone company, Netflix. Everybody gets paid automatically, except you. You get whatever's left, and whatever's left is a terrible savings plan. That's why more than half of Americans say they live paycheck to paycheck, including plenty of people earning 6 figures. If that sounds familiar, it should. That was episode 1. Different salary, same broken pipes. Last episode we met the word breakage. The money companies expect to quietly leak out of your account. Subscriptions you forgot, fees you didn't fight, prices that crept while you weren't looking. That leak is the reason saving feels impossible. It's not a character flaw, it's a business model. And when saving fails, we blame ourselves. We buy a budgeting app, feel guilty for a week, and quit. That's the willpower model of money, and it fails for the same reason diets fail. Willpower is a battery, and life drains it every single day. So we're not going to use willpower. We're going to use plumbing. Pipes don't get tired. Pipes don't have a bad day and order takeout. We're going to repipe your money so saving happens whether you feel motivated or not. That's the whole secret, not sacrifice. Plumbing. Part 1. Pay yourself first and make it automatic. The day your paycheck lands, before you see it, before you can touch it, a piece leaves for savings on its own. You set up an automatic transfer for payday, not the day after. Payday, and start stupidly small. $25 a week. That's $1,300 a year you will never miss. Because money you never see is money you never spend. Remember the invisible tax trick? It works in both directions. This time the tax is paying you. Then every 3 months, raise it by $10. You won't feel it. Nobody feels $10, but the machine does. One bonus for the bi-weekly crowd. If you're paid every 2 weeks, twice a year a month shows up with 3 paydays in it. Those 2 extra checks have no bills assigned to them. The bills were already covered. Sweep them straight into savings. That trick alone can feed the machine an extra $1,000 a year, and you never feel a thing. Part 2. Get the money out of sight at a different bank. This one is pure psychology. If your savings sits next to your checking, you will raid it. Not because you're bad with money, because it's Tuesday and pizza exists. So you open a separate savings account at a bank you don't use for anything else. No card in your wallet, no app on your home screen. Make it annoying to reach, and make it a high-yield savings account. Here's a number that should make you angry. The big banks pay about 0.01% on savings. On $10,000, that's $1 a year. 1. A high-yield account at an online bank pays around 4%, $400 a year on the same money for doing nothing different. Same government insurance, same boring account, 400 times the pay. One more trick that sounds too small to work: rename the account. Most banks let you give an account a nickname, and there's a real difference between rating something called savings and rating something called never panic again. You're not stealing from an account anymore. You're stealing from a plan. Brains hate that. Some people go further and run 4 accounts: bills, savings, fun, and goals. Every dollar gets a job and an address. If that sounds like you, do it. The rule underneath is the same either way. Money with a name gets saved. Money in a pile gets spent. Part 3. Hunt the leaks, not the joys. This is where every other finance video tells you to quit coffee. I won't, because the coffee was never the problem. The $5 things you love are not what's keeping you broke. It's the $200 things you forgot. A research firm asked Americans to guess their monthly subscription spending. The average guess, $86. The real number, $219. That gap, money leaving on autopilot for things you don't even use, that's your leak hiding in plain sight. So tonight, read one bank statement, 1 month, line by line. Circle everything you don't remember choosing. The streaming you don't watch. The gym from 2 apartments ago. Cancel the zombies, keep the joys. Most people find $80 to $150 a month in 10 minutes. That's not budgeting. That's picking money up off the floor. 2 more leaks worth hunting: car insurance, loyalty gets punished, and getting fresh quotes once a year saves drivers hundreds. And food waste, close to 1/3 of America's food ends up in the trash. In your house, that's real grocery money every month. You don't need coupons. You need a shelf where leftovers go to be eaten, not forgotten. While you're at it, call your phone company and your internet company and ask one magic question: what promotions do I qualify for? Companies keep quiet discounts for the people who ask. 10 minutes on hold has a funny way of being worth $100 a year. Part 4. Widen the gap from the income side. Cutting has a floor. You can only cut so much. Earning has no ceiling. But in this phase, forget the internet's side hustle fantasies. You need boring money fast. Start with your closet. Researchers say the average American home holds around 300,000 items. Somewhere in yours is a few $100s of stuff you don't use. Old phones, tools, a guitar nobody plays, clothes with the tags still on. Selling it is a double win: cash into the machine and a house that finally breathes. And here's something I said differently last episode, so let me be precise. Last time I told you trading hours for money is the trap. That's true as a lifetime plan. But for a season, with a target, overtime, extra shifts, holiday pay, that's the one time selling hours is exactly the plan. A sprint is not a treadmill. Sprints end. Part 5. Make it a game your brain wants to win. This is the part everyone skips, and it's the part that decides whether you actually get there. Because here's a strange thing savers report over and over. The first 1,000 is the hardest, and then something flips. Watching the number grow starts to feel better than spending. People literally describe it as an addiction. Your brain loves a scoreboard, so give it one. Set a milestone every $500 and celebrate it cheaply, but really. Try the $5 bill trick. Every 5 that lands in your hand goes into a jar untouched. It sounds silly. It also quietly stacks hundreds a year. Print a tracker with 100 boxes and color one in for every $100 saved. A colored box is dopamine, and dopamine beats discipline. That's not a weakness. That's engineering. By the way, this trick is over 100 years old. In 1909, American banks started something called the Christmas Club. Millions of people put in a few dollars every week, all year, and unlocked the money in December. Almost no interest. People joined anyway, for the little booklet, the stamps, the finish line. The banks understood something we forgot. Humans don't save for math reasons. Humans save for finish lines. Now the promise from the start. Real numbers, real paycheck. Say you take home $2,800 a month. Tight, but common. The autopilot transfer, $150 a month. The zombie subscriptions and the insurance quotes, about $130 back. Packing lunch 3 days a week instead of buying it, about $80. Selling one thing a month, call it $60. Added up, $420 a month. And your coffee never got touched. $420 a month reaches $10,000 in about 2 years, 24 months, with a high-yield account paying interest the whole way a little sooner. And if you push the sprint, real overtime, a bigger transfer, $650 a month gets you there in about 15 months. And watch what happens along the way. Month 6, you're past $2,500, most car repairs and deductibles just stopped being scary. Month 12, you cross $5,000, more emergency money than most Americans have. Month 18, the layoff shield is real. Month 24, $10,000. The machine pays you in peace long before it pays you in full. 2 years. That's the whole race. Not a lifetime of beans and rice. 24 months of a machine running quietly in the background while you live your life. And here's what nobody tells you about the day you cross 10,000. The money changes jobs. Up to 10K, it's a shield. Past 10K, it becomes a seed. The emergencies are covered now, so every dollar after is free to go to work. Remember the machine from episode 1? $10,000, left alone in the market at its long-run average, is about $100,000 by retirement. You don't just save 10 grand, you plant it. Quick rule for protecting the shield, because someone will test it. Money leaves the vault for 3 reasons only: unexpected, necessary, and urgent. All 3, or it stays shut. A car repair is all 3. A sale is none of them. And Christmas is not an emergency. It comes every single year on the same day. That's the honest answer to the smart critics who say saving doesn't build wealth. They're right. Saving alone doesn't. Saving builds the launch pad. Investing builds the rocket. But nobody launches a rocket from a swamp. Something else changes too. Quieter, but bigger. People who study money habits keep finding the same thing. What predicts wealth over a lifetime isn't income, it's identity. The day you start thinking of yourself as a saver, decisions start making themselves. You stop white-knuckling every choice, because the machine already decided. That's who you are now. Remember Mike from Phoenix, the guy who was minus $30 a month? A year and a half after his 3 moves, Mike crossed $10,000 for the first time in his life. Nothing about his job changed. His pipes changed. And the week his car finally died, because it always dies, Mike paid cash, slept fine, and drove to the same job with a different feeling in his chest. That feeling has a name. It's called being in the black. So here's your homework, and it takes 20 minutes. Tonight, read 1 bank statement and kill the zombies. Tomorrow, open the high-yield account at a bank you don't use. Payday, set the automatic transfer. $25 is enough to start the machine. Then print the tracker and color your first box. You don't save $10,000. You build a machine that saves it for you, and then you protect the machine. Drop your number in the comments, where you're starting from. No shame, we have all been there, and the date you're aiming for. I read them, and if you're already climbing, keep going. The first 1,000 is the hardest, and you are closer than you think. Next video, the money rules rich families actually teach their kids, the quiet ones you won't find on social media. Some of them will annoy you, all of them work. Subscribe so you don't miss it. See you there.